Hello and welcome back together to this weekly update on the financial markets. I will cover today with you, like always, the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold, and Bitcoin against US dollar. And what follows afterwards are some single stocks I have on my watch list right now, and in some of them I'm already in a trade. I will explain you why and what's the overall plan. Let's start directly in with the S&P 500 index on the weekly time frame. So here we start with S&P 500 index on the weekly time frame. Like you can see, an intact uptrend. At the moment, retesting a once broken uptrend line from the lower side, which often turns resistance. You can see we bounced a couple of times here, but never get above it so far. Then we have seen a slightly violation of the 10-week moving average to the downside, and I think this could be, well, the highest candle we will see. MACD is ticking lower, and we are about to cross in the next couple of weeks, and I think the top could be in, I'm not 100% sure, but for more details on the daily time frame, you can see there's no real nice uptrend to draw and daily quite solid uptrend line, but I did. We have definitely MACD divergence. MACD is falling while prices are rising. The moves are getting shorter, from long-lasting movements to shorter movements with less and less upside potential and downside potential. So it's compromising here, squeezing. That's normally the sign that some kind of move will happen afterwards. And my guess is because we had such a nice run in combination with the divergence, we will see a pullback, which is normal in an uptrend. Could look something like this, and then recover and continue the overall uptrend. I went out of the position back on the 2nd September, where we've seen the breakdown here. We recovered, made even slightly higher high, but overall I think I'm happy with selling this position right here, and my plan is to get involved later on if we see the pullback here. You can see on my account history here, this was the trade. I was making a profit of 1.9% of my account balance, or $1,900. So far so good. The overall plan, my take profit slightly below the $7,000 mark stays. This trading setup with stop loss entry, of course, will change if I find a new entry around the last all-time highs here probably. On the 4-hour time frame, there's nothing much more really to see than we've seen on the daily. So I would say that's all I have for the S&P 500 index. Let's continue with US oil. Oil on the weekly time frame, you can see a red monthly downward line in combination with a red monthly solid support and resistance zone. Both have been broken to the upper side. Since then, we are moving in this sideways consolidation. You could argue that on the weekly you see an A, B, C pattern. Point C maybe already in, maybe we will see even a lower point C. I'm not sure about that yet. What have to make me really bullish is a break above this 200 moving average, retest and break to the upper side to confirm that we change from a downtrend to an uptrend, because 200 moving average on a weekly was support, pretty consistent, and then turned resistance pretty consistent. And yeah, we tried here a small breakout to the upper side. We'll see this later on the lower time frames as well, but then declined directly lower, so not a confirmed breakout. On the daily time frame, you can see it, daily downward line broken to the upper side, news driven violation of the weekly downward line, then collapse of price again, A, B, C pattern to the downside, and yeah, we have seen a break of this secondary daily downward line to the upper side, coming back down, making a lower low, slightly lower low, but it's a lower low, so I have to move this line there, and still in a downtrend, so nothing bullish so far. I will first get an idea of bullish if we see prices above this last local high in the 200 moving average on a daily time frame. But till that happens, I would expect it will decline even lower. I'm not willing to trade this to the lower side. I think I will wait for a break to the upper side, because I think there's more potential. At the moment, it's more sideways range movement and nothing I like to trade personally. You can definitely decide for yourself. Otherwise, on forward time frame, cycles moving sideways, staying below this daily downward line in range between these two 4-hour support and resistance zones. So nothing much to say right now here. Next, gold. Gold on the weekly time frame, yeah, you can see after struggling a long time with this weekly resistance zone, we have been able to see the breakout, and since then gold has only known one way, and that's up, higher highs followed by higher lows, and then big sideways consolidation on a pretty high price level. Now we see the MACD cross on the weekly time frame from bearish to bullish on a high level, and we have seen definitely the breakout to the upper side, which I used for a long position here with stop loss slightly below the range, and the entry was above the range, and now we are already in a nice profit of 1.3% of the account balance for $1,300. New all-time high. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, you can see my white solid daily uptrend line still intact and far away from price already. Secondary daily uptrend line, I moved it a little bit to this last low before the breakout, and the downward line of the, let's say, triangle formation here. I entered long after seeing these two highs getting taken out, so break of lower highs to higher highs, and yeah, I'm already long. Maybe expectancy is see a little bit more upside and then a pullback. So if you are not in yet, you can still consider if you then will get long again in gold and ride the rest higher, because my expectancy is it will rise all the way up to the $4,000 level. Probably I placed my take profit slightly below that. Yeah, I think a breakout on this high level has a lot of more room to the upper side. My stop loss stays below the significant two lows of the sideways consolidation. I think that should be pretty safe. If not, I get taken out with my $2,000 at loss, but I will be fine with that. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see not really much more, only that it was an excessive move to the upper side, taking out this 4-hour resistance zone here. And yeah, the MACD already crossed on the 4-hour to the downside, made also a divergence, so maybe you can expect sooner or later a pullback. What I normally look for in such a pullback to re-enter is maybe pullback either to the next major support, that would be around $3,500, and or the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, that would be around 3,485 or something like that. Yes, let's leave that one out. That's all I have for gold right now. Next, Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the weekly time frame looks nearly as beautiful as gold, with the difference that we are not a new all-time high level right now with Bitcoin, but we have an intake uptrend, printing higher highs and higher lows. But at the moment on the MACD, we have a divergence to the price on a weekly scale after retesting or after testing the first extension zone of the Fibonacci retracement level from the last low to the last high, and come down from there and already are below the 10-week moving average. The question is, how far goes the correction before we continue in this 4-year, in the end of this 4-year Bitcoin cycle to the upper side? I'm expecting more bullish price action. If we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see that the daily solid white uptrend line got broken clearly to the downside, and price is currently bouncing from the prior highs here, from this daily support zone that once was resistance. MACD on the daily already crossed from negative to positive here, so maybe that's the lowest point we will see, but I'm not sure yet. My entry level was slightly below, I had a couple of entries, and combined my entry is below this ABC pattern right now. I initially had placed my stop loss slightly below that, so I'm only risking $500 on this trade, but I decided to move my stop loss below this daily support zone here and this weekly uptrend line, because my expectancy for Bitcoin, or my conviction in Bitcoin rising higher than this, is pretty high on this cycle, and I don't want to get taken out just because we're retesting this 200 moving average and have an intraday peak into my stop loss. Because of that, I'm willing to risk $2,000 in case that this was already the high and we break below this weekly uptrend line. What's against the $2,000 risk? And $7,700 profit if we see new highs above that and continue all the way up in the direction of $145,000 per coin. So the risk reward ratio is pretty Sweet. So yeah, if we drop one time frame lower to the 4 time frame, you can see that we had a series of lower lows and lower highs, and then we changed that one already. If we would draw on 4 or downward line, that would also be broken. No guarantee that we will see from here on rising price, but the likelihood in my view has risen significant, but maybe be prepared for one more sell-off and then rising prices again. I would say rising prices, at least if we see prices moment, yeah, above this and the 200 moving average at the 4-hour time frame. If you see price getting above that, I think we are pretty safe here. That's all I have for Bitcoin right now. Let's continue with the single stocks, beginning with AOS. AOS starting at the weekly time frame, because here you can see we had 3 major declines, and after each decline in the past we've seen a massive run to the upper side, and I'm expecting that to be true or here in this third move also. So I wanted to speculate on rising prices, and yeah, for that I analyzed on the daily time frame each scenario. I had a complete breakdown of these scenarios, I think 2 episodes before that one. So if you like a detailed breakdown what I have seen and analyzed here and what I'm also seeing in this current situation, go back to my prior episodes, there you can see it. I have normally built in a timeline where you can jump directly to the fitting moment in the video. Yeah. So at the moment, everything looks good. On the weekly time frame, you can see the 200 moving average was resistance. We broke it to the upper side. Now it turns support. MACD is rising. On the daily time frame, we had also the 200 moving average as support. We've seen lower lows, then higher highs, and at the moment everything looks like it will function like expected. Stop loss below last pullback, the last major low, and take profit 2 to 4 risk reward ratio far away, still below the all-time highs in the daily resistance zone, so staying pretty conservative, risking 0.5% of my confidence to make 1% or a little bit more than 1%, and I think that's looking pretty sweet. Next, Netflix. Netflix on the daily time frame here, you can see a couple of trades here in the past. I wasn't taking them really on real time. I was backtesting Netflix, and what was the idea? The idea was to trade a signal on a MACD getting negative, crossing positive, and then going long after seeing taking out a major support or resistance in that case to the upper side, taking that out and then going long with stop loss below the last significant low. That's what I did here then live, now the first time in Netflix. The 4 time frame you can see better, downward support and resistance zone, 200 moving average, MACD divergence. We've seen a breakout. At the moment we are at a retest. I'm already long in this trade, risking 0.5% of my confidence below the last significant low. Risk reward ratio is 2 to 1 at the moment, and yeah, at the moment trade got activated, and I'm waiting now for the ongoing price action to confirm my trade or to take my stop loss. Either way, I will be fine with that. That's the way of trading. The plan stands, and I will now stay the course. Next, Investor.B. Investor.B. Yeah, we had nice uptrends followed by sideways movements, and that's also here the case with the 200 moving average being support all the time on a daily time frame, then turning resistance. And yeah, I am speculating that if we take out these 3 highs that are all around the same price area, we take that one out to the upper side in combination with the 200 moving average, they will see rising prices like the stock did in the past every single time, and my stop loss would be placed below the last significant low, risking 0.5% of my confidence again, and my take profit is 2 to 1 risk reward ratio far away. I'm staying far below the first extension level of the Fibonacci retracement tool, so already pretty conservative. And yeah, that's the trade, not triggered yet, but I hope so in the coming week, or yeah, I have time and wait. This setup stays valid until I see prices below my stop loss level. Next, Tesla. Tesla came out of a sideways consolidation with the weekly downtrend line. The weekly downtrend got broken to the upper side, and we moved pretty fast after elections to a new all-time high. Collapsed then, news driven through Elon Musk, and also the numbers of the company haven't been so great. We came pretty sharp down, and we have been able to draw on daily white solid downtrend line. We broke that to the upper side and then moved into a sideways consolidation formed like a triangle, and I see it as a triangle. I was waiting for a breakout of the triangle, a retest, and then a break of the retest to the upper side to see that's not a fake out, just to the wrong direction. And yeah, at the moment it looks pretty okay to me. To a moving average at the moment supporting this price action idea, slightly in minus or near the entry level, and my stop loss is below a significant point inside this triangle. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see it more in detail. Maybe I should have waited for this significant high to get taken out for my entry. That would have been the safer way. Or if you are willing to be completely conservative, if you see prices above this whole triangle, but then already some profit is definitely lost to be that late in the trade. But yeah, that's the trading setup. 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, staying below the last all-time high, and yeah, it's running. I will update you like always in the next video, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. But that's not all for this video. Next, Berkshire Hathaway. Yeah, Berkshire Hathaway is a stock that's trending to the upper side on the longer time frame, so ideal for long trades. Price left this uptrending price channel to the lower side, retesting a prior drawn white solid daily uptrend line. First getting below the 2-1 moving average that was support in prior episodes for price, then turned resistance and continued lower. Then we have seen a MACD divergence, lower prices, rising MACD, and then the final push above this 200 moving average and price resistance. So I went long, and so far slightly in profit with the position. Stop loss below the lowest point of the complete movement and below the daily daily uptrend line here. Take profit below the upper band of the price channel. Also risk-reward ratio of 2-to-1. If we drop one time from lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see it more in detail. We have seen lower lows and lower highs, 2-1 moving average being resistance. Then we have seen a break above the 2-1 moving average, and then a final break above this 4-hour resistance zone. And I went long here. We've seen a small pullback. The pullback gets taken out to the upper side, would have been also a good entry level. And from there on, I'm expecting rising prices. If we fall below this prior low here, I will get taken out for 0.5% of my account balance. That's it all for Berkshire. Active trade. I will update you like always. Next, Snap-on. Snap-on Incorporated is also a long-lasting uptrending stock, so also ideal for long trades. The weekly uptrend is still intact. We have seen a couple of pullbacks, sideways movements, and breakouts to the upper side. The same I'm expecting right here. We've seen the pullback to the prior highs and a weekly uptrend. From there we change from downtrend to an uptrend. The daily downtrend line is a stopping price from this breakout right now. We have already seen a MACD change from negative to bullish, and I want to trade if we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. I'm willing to trade if we see prices above this 200 moving average and this prior high and this daily downtrend line. That will trigger my buy stop order if we see prices above that, with my stop loss below some lows here of this movement, staying below this daily downtrend line and this daily support zone. At the moment, still resistance for price. My take profit would be below the first Fibonacci extension level with a risk-reward ratio of 2-to-1. So pretty solid, not triggered yet. So you can decide for yourself if you want also to set up this trade. I will update you like always. Next, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike not so long on the market, but since then rising with a lot of swings. Volatility is good for traders, remember that. And if we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see we are at a major level of price action. So prior highs and support zone probably supported by the 200 moving average. make the cross on the daily to the upper side, broken daily downtrend line. If we drop even one time from lower, you can see it in more detail. And yeah, as long as we don't see prices below this low here, this downtrend or a broken downtrend here is valid. We don't have to move it to the latest high. We have here an for our support or resistance zone in this case, and I think if that one gets broken to the upper side and above this prior high here, my buy stop order is placed pretty well with my stop loss below the lowest point of the whole complete movement. I'm expecting then a move to the upper side, taking out the prior all-time high, slightly below the first Fibonacci extension level. If you take the latest movement from below to the high, you get this extension levels for take profit targets, and you get this setback levels for reversals or entry levels. Like you can see, we already retested 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, and from there on, normally price gets his ass up again to the upper side and is not continuing lower as long as we stay in an uptrend. So pretty confident that we will see the break to the upper side here, at least so confident that I am willing to risk 0.5% of my account balance on that. But like you can see, not triggered yet. Everything's possible. This setup stays valid until I see prices below my stop loss level. Then I will delete that one, and we have to wait for new signs in this stock. Next, Blackstone. Blackstone also on a weekly long-term rising stock, prior supported by the 200 moving average here with the last huge decline. We have seen the break to the upper side, pretty bullish green candles. Yeah, at the moment on a higher level, seeing a flag pattern. You can see it better on a daily time frame. So we have seen a breakout, and now we have seen ABC corrective move. That can for sure continue lower and retest also the 200 moving average or break even below that one. But I think if we see this ABC pattern broken to the upper side, I would wait for price to complete the movement completely above this ABC pattern. Then I would get into a buy stop position with stop loss below the low. That's then the lowest point of this movement. Maybe we have to adjust it a little bit lower. We will see. And then right price is higher, staying below the first extension level of the Fibonacci retracement tool, 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Not triggered yet, hasn't to be triggered, but I think it's a nice setup considering if it happens like expected. Otherwise, we will adapt. That's what we do as traders. Next, Alibaba. Yeah, Alibaba was a good rise to the upper side and then a huge decline. What was it? 82% downside, all the way back down to the lowest points the stock ever had. Like you can see, in the meantime, I was also a little bit invested. First time since a long time that we again above the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame. We have seen a break above this prior weekly support and resistance zone. I think it was resistance, now it turns support. MACD was crossing to the upper side on the weekly, so I considered a long trade. On the daily time frame, I said if we see prices above this last local high here, I will enter a long position with a stop loss below the 200 moving average, and that's what already happened. Slightly touched my entry level, so I got directly involved in the trade, and we have seen a smaller pullback. Maybe this pullback goes even further into my stop loss area, but I finally think that we will see higher moving prices from here on. Yeah, my take profit is placed below prior weekly resistance zone, so that I get out of trade before we reach that area and got rejected to the lower side again. That's at least my plan. If that works out, I would make 2 times my risk, and if not, I will lose 0.5% of my account balance. Good risk reward ratio. Next, Lind. Linde PLC is a long-lasting rising stock, so ideal for long trades. Like I said, you can see lately we have seen some sideways movement on the weekly time frame here, but still everything supported by the 200 moving average. On the daily time frame, you can see we had first a daily broken downtrend. We haven't seen a huge breakdown, we consolidated on a high level in the sideways movement range, drawn between this daily support and resistance zones here. Price is stuck here since a long time, so I think if we see the breakout to the upper side, so higher than the prior highs here, I think that could be a nice entry level for a long trade with a stop loss below this daily resistance zone, and near the 200 moving average placed right now. I think we can see a good move up to the first Fibonacci extension level. I place my take profit at the moment slightly above that. I can maybe readjust that one if I get a nice pullback and breakout. Then I really know where to place my stop loss. Right now I place it at the 200 moving average, but I maybe can adjust it higher. Then I can take also my take profit a little bit lower and get also good risk reward ratio with staying below the first Fibonacci extension level here. But normally in these cases you can expect that the height of the sideways consolidation will also move after a break to the upper side into the upper side. So that would be absolutely fitting with my 2-to-1 risk reward ratio at the moment. That's all I have for Lind, not triggered yet. Next, Toyota. Toyota Motor Corporation is also a Japanese company that's trending upward, not that fast like other companies, like the tech ones, but it's definitely an uptrend. And recently we have seen a 200 moving average supported sideways movement here. The daily time frame, you can see it in more detail. We have the break above this daily downtrend line. Since then we're moving sideways, supported by the 200 moving average at the moment. We had an often tested support and resistance, or oftentimes more resistance level here. And we have seen now another try to get above that, a retest. And I think if the retest gets broken to the upper side, I'm willing to bet on a long trade here in Toyota. Not that far of a movement, staying pretty conservative below the prior all-time highs. Stop loss below this 4-hour resistance zone, or then turning support, and below this smaller retest here. Risking 0.5% for making 2 times more risk. Again, I think pretty solid trade. If you have other ideas or other opinions about one of my trading setups, please comment in the comment section. I will answer them like always. And until next time, bye bye. Have a great week.